Hello and welcome, friends. You're watching Senior Health Over 60, the channel devoted to helping older adults take control of their health, feel stronger, and live longer through smarter nutrition, safer habits, and science-backed tips. If you're 60 or older, or caring for someone who is, you're in the right place. Because we believe aging should never mean giving up your vitality or your independence. And today, we're diving into a topic that might surprise you: fish. Yes, fish, we've all heard it. Fish is good for you. And that's mostly true. Fish is lean, high in protein, and full of those amazing omega-3s we know are great for the heart and brain. And here's the twist: not all fish are created equal. Some of the most commonly eaten fish in America are actually dangerous for older adults. And yes, we're talking about the kind you might find at a grocery store, a seafood restaurant, or even your own freezer. Now let me be clear. I'm not saying all fish are bad. In fact, many are excellent for seniors. But some popular varieties contain toxic levels of mercury, bacteria, or industrial chemicals that can quietly harm your brain, your nerves, and your immune system, especially as your body becomes more sensitive with age. So do I agree with the title of this video? 6 fish that older adults should never eat at all costs. In part, yes, but it's not about fear. It's about being informed and intentional. You don't need to give up seafood. You just need to choose wisely. Direct hit before we get into the list: if this kind of information is helpful to you or your loved ones, please hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs it, and subscribe to Senior Health Over 60. Your support helps us keep making content that empowers seniors to live better every single day. Ready? Let's dive in. Brain Part 1: Common misconceptions about eating fish. Let's start with a few important truths and some long-standing myths that many of us have believed for years. Misconception 1: all fish is healthy. We've grown up hearing that fish is a smart, healthy choice. And in many ways, that's true. Fish can be a fantastic source of lean protein and omega-3 fatty acids, both of which are essential for brain function and heart health. But as we age, our bodies don't process toxins the way they used to. That means even small amounts of mercury or industrial chemicals in fish can have a larger impact than we might expect. Not every fish is created equal, and some are downright dangerous if eaten regularly. Misconception 2: the more expensive the fish, the better it must be. Unfortunately, price isn't always a sign of purity or health. Some high-end fish like swordfish or big-eye tuna are praised in restaurants but are loaded with mercury. What you're paying for is often taste, texture, or scarcity, not safety. Especially for older adults, choosing fish based on cost or appearance can be a risky mistake. Misconception 3: I only eat fish occasionally, so I'm probably fine. It's easy to assume that once in a while can't hurt. But for seniors, even occasional exposure to harmful levels of mercury or bacteria can add up. Our bodies store toxins differently at this age, and what may have been fine at 40 can become problematic at 70. That's why being selective, even for the occasional meal, matters. So, with those myths out of the way, let's get into the 6 specific types of fish that could be causing more harm than good, especially for older adults. Fish Part 2: 6 types of fish older adults should avoid. Now, let's break down the 6 specific types of fish that older adults should seriously think twice about before including on their plate. Each one might look healthy, taste great, or even show up on recommended lists. But for seniors, these fish can quietly do more harm than good. 1. King mackerel. Let's start with king mackerel, a fish that's flavorful, commonly grilled, and often mistaken as a healthy choice. The truth is, king mackerel contains some of the highest levels of mercury among all fish. Mercury is a heavy metal that accumulates in the body over time, and as we age, our ability to process and eliminate toxins slows down. For older adults, this can lead to memory issues, hand tremors, and even cardiovascular problems. You might be surprised how often this fish sneaks into meals, especially in southern cooking traditions. A safer bet. Choose wild-caught salmon or sardines, both rich in omega-3s but low in mercury. 2. Tilefish. Tilefish is often served at restaurants under the generic label white fish, or catch of the day. It has a light, flaky texture and pairs well with lemon sauces, making it a popular menu item. But here's the concern. Tilefish, especially those from the Gulf of Mexico, also rank extremely high in mercury. Many diners never realize what they're being served, and seniors may unknowingly consume something that could slowly impair their balance, memory, and mood. When ordering out, always ask what type of white fish is being used. Cod or haddock are better options for older adults. 3. Swordfish. Swordfish has long been viewed as a luxury fish. Thick, hearty, and often served at upscale dinners or holiday meals. But its status as a top predator in the ocean also makes it one of the worst for mercury buildup. Because it lives longer and feeds on smaller contaminated fish, it stores large amounts of toxins in its meat. And no, grilling or baking doesn't remove mercury. It's a permanent part of the fish. Older adults with kidney issues or memory concerns should especially avoid swordfish. If you're looking for a satisfying fish with a similar texture, try rainbow trout or pollock instead. 4. Big eye tuna, ahi tuna. Ahi tuna is a favorite on sushi menus and in gourmet salads. It's tender, rich in color, and often served raw. But here's where it becomes dangerous. Big eye tuna is another predator fish with high mercury content, and when eaten raw, it also brings a significant risk of bacterial infections. As we age, our immune system weakens, making it harder to fight off foodborne illnesses. Even a mild exposure to bacteria from undercooked or raw tuna can lead to serious illness in older adults. Skipjack tuna, often labeled light tuna in cans, is a far safer, lower mercury choice. 5. Farmed salmon. Salmon has an outstanding reputation for heart health, but not all salmon is created equal. Farmed salmon, especially those imported from countries with loose regulations, are raised in crowded pens, often fed low-quality pellets, and given antibiotics and chemical colorants. These conditions lead to contamination with substances like PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls, which are linked to hormone disruption, cancer risk, and inflammation. This can be particularly harmful for older adults with arthritis or weakened immunity. The better option: choose wild-caught Alaskan salmon. Yes, it's a bit pricier, but your long-term health is worth the investment. 6. Imported catfish. For many Americans, especially in the South, catfish is more than just food. It's comfort. It's tradition. But much of the catfish sold in supermarkets today is imported from farms in countries where safety standards are not strictly enforced. These fish are often raised in overcrowded, unsanitary conditions and treated with antibiotics that are banned in the U.S. for seniors with slower digestion and weaker immune responses. The risks are real. U.S. Farmed catfish is a much safer option. Just make sure it's fully cooked and always check the label for its origin. These 6 types of fish are the ones that quietly carry risks many people never see coming. They're not just about flavor or price, they're about what your body can handle at this stage in life. And for seniors, that difference can be everything. Part 3. A real-life story example. Let me tell you a true story, one that stayed with me for years because it's something I've seen again and again in my medical practice. George is 72 years old, a retired fireman living in Florida. For decades, every Sunday afternoon, George would fire up the backyard grill and cook a hearty meal for his family. His specialty: thick, juicy king mackerel fillets. He swore by them, rich in flavor, loaded with protein, and in his mind, a healthy choice that kept his mind sharp and his heart strong. But over time, things started to change. George became forgetful. He'd misplace his glasses. He began losing track of appointments. He found himself getting tired more often, and even noticed his hands trembling slightly when he lifted his coffee cup. At first, Everyone assumed it was just part of getting older. But during a routine checkup, something unexpected came up. His doctor noticed signs of mercury buildup. Lab results confirmed it, and the likely source, his favorite Sunday fish, king mackerel. That discovery led George and his family to completely rethink their eating habits. He switched to wild-caught salmon and sardines, and within a few months, his energy improved. The tremors became less noticeable, and his memory began to stabilize. It wasn't a miracle, but it was a powerful reminder that what we eat matters more than we think, especially as we get older. George's story isn't unique. It's a quiet wake-up call, and if it could happen to him, it could happen to any of us or someone we love. Compass Part 4: How to choose fish safely for seniors. So now that we've covered which fish to avoid, let's shift to something even more important: how to make safer, smarter choices when you're shopping for fish or ordering at a restaurant. First, always ask questions. Whether you're at a restaurant or seafood market, don't be afraid to ask where the fish comes from and what species it is. Labels like white fish or catch of the day can sound harmless, but they often hide high mercury options like tilefish or imported species with questionable farming practices. It's your health. You have every right to know what's on your plate. Second, look for wild-caught. Fish caught in the wild, especially from U.S. or Alaskan waters, tend to be lower in contaminants and are generally held to stricter environmental and safety standards. They're also more likely to contain naturally balanced nutrients, which is a huge benefit for older adults. Third, read labels carefully. When buying canned fish like tuna, look for light tuna or skipjack on the label. These are lower in mercury than albacore or big eye varieties. Also pay attention to origin labels. Product of USA is a good sign. If it says farm-raised without mentioning the country, it might be best to skip it. Fourth, avoid raw or undercooked fish. Sushi, ceviche, or lightly seared dishes may taste great, but for seniors, the risk of bacterial infection is significantly higher. Cooked fish lowers the risk dramatically and still offers all the nutritional benefits, without the potential for dangerous side effects. Remember, the goal isn't to avoid fish altogether. It's to enjoy it in a way that supports your health, keeps you strong, and helps you thrive, one meal at a time. Counterclockwise arrows button Part 5. Misconceptions that need reframing. Even with everything we've discussed so far, there are still a few persistent beliefs that often keep older adults from making healthier choices when it comes to fish. Let's clear those up, once and for all. One of the most common things I hear is, fish is gentle on the stomach, it's one of the safest proteins out there. While that might be true for some fish, it doesn't apply to all. Certain types, especially the ones high in mercury or raised in questionable conditions, can actually be harder on the digestive and nervous systems of older adults than we realize. Another one: I've been eating this fish for years and I've always been fine. That's understandable, but our bodies change as we age. What worked well at 40 doesn't always work the same way at 70. The liver, kidneys, and immune system don't process toxins or bacteria as efficiently, and even foods we've eaten our whole lives can suddenly become a risk. And finally, the idea that cheaper is better often leads people to buy imported or farmed fish without checking the source. It's tempting, especially on a fixed income, but cheap can sometimes mean hidden costs to your health. Choosing better quality, safer fish doesn't always mean spending a fortune. It just means being more selective, more informed, and more intentional. It's not about restriction. It's about smarter freedom, making choices that keep you energized, clear-headed, and able to enjoy the things you love for years to come. White heavy checkmark conclusion. We've talked today about 6 types of fish that older adults should either avoid entirely or eat with great caution. King mackerel, tilefish, swordfish, big-eye tuna, farmed salmon from poorly regulated regions, and imported catfish. Each one may seem innocent, maybe even healthy on the surface, But under that shiny skin lie risks that can quietly impact your memory, your heart, your nerves, and your immune system. So what's the lesson here? It's not that fish is bad. It's that knowledge is power. As we grow older, our bodies become more sensitive to what we eat, and the choices we make each day matter more than ever. That doesn't mean giving up the foods we love. It means choosing versions of them that love us back, foods that support longer life, clearer thinking, steadier balance, and stronger immunity. Imagine what one small shift could mean for you. Swapping a high-mercury fish for a cleaner, wild-caught one could be the difference between daily fatigue and newfound energy. Choosing cooked over raw could mean fewer days sick and more time doing the things you enjoy. Taking an extra moment to ask where your fish comes from could mean a longer, healthier life, just by caring a little more today than you did yesterday. And if you're someone who prepares meals for an aging parent or spouse, this information could be the quiet protection they didn't know they needed. Direct hit before we close out, please take a second to like this video, share it with a loved one, and subscribe to our channel, Senior Health Over 60. Your support helps us continue bringing valuable insights to help seniors live longer, stronger, and with more peace of mind. Because aging with health isn't just possible, it's powerful. And it starts with what's on your plate. Until next time, take care of yourself and those you love. See you in the next video.